Alrighty, this We the People News. At it again, y'all. Never look straight forward. Always look around us. Be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary. Again, be armed with knowledge. Okay? How can we proceed forward? And just a reminder, investigate them as they are investigating you.
Let's move on to rule number 14. If you understand the charges against you, you are admitting to being competent to stand trial. Okay? So when the court says, "Do you understand these charges as I have read them to you?" That's where you say, "No, Your Honor, I do not understand." What?
Now, I talked to that about that before, right? I don't understand. You may say I overstand, but never agree that you understand. Well, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can will be held against you in court of law. Do you understand? No, no, no. I don't.
Specifically don't you understand? Well, I don't understand where's the corpus delicti? Where's the body of the crime? Where's the victim in this case? Where is the well, this is a traffic court, this is an infraction. Okay, wonderful. Where's the contract? How many times have we asked for that in traffic court? So a traffic violation is an infraction. Well, an infraction is a violation of a contract. Where is the contract?
Well, they claim it's your driver's license or some such.
They do claim that, but guess what? Your driver's license is not a valid contract. It's a quasi-contract. So what does a valid contract have to have? Well, it's got to have signatures from both parties involved. There has to be consideration, and there has to be a meeting of the minds. Those are the four basic elements of a contract.
Yeah, it's a one-sided. You signed and no one else signed.
Exactly, it's one-sided. So again, it's not a valid contract. So does the court have an enforceable cause of action? No, they do not. So no, Your Honor, I don't understand these charges because it appears to me as an infraction, this is being prosecuted under administrative law. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Wonderful. The prosecution has failed to submit the evidence of a valid contract that this court can enforce under these penal codes. Absent that contract, this court has no cause of action that it can grant relief for. And if you're claiming that this is a common law crime, well then where is the other man or woman who's claiming loss of life, liberty, or property that has direct knowledge that I was the one that did that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really as hard as we may make it sound. I mean, I was speaking last night to this wonderful group of people, and at the end of the meeting, we had a kind of a question and answer, and a lot of people's like, "I am nowhere near the expert that you are. I couldn't do this." I'm like, "Yes, you can. I am not an expert. I'm a nobody." Gosh.
But you have a different, your brain functions differently. I mean, how long have you and I been speaking and have been going through this stuff? There's things that I still don't remember. So we all have a different capacity for memory and stuff. And you have an amazing, like I mentioned, you're like my husband. He can read something and remember it verbatim.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, that is one of my gifts that God has given me, is that, I can retain information fairly well.
Right.
I'm not perfect.
And you teach well.
I stumble over my words all the time. I am not the greatest orator, speaker.
You do great.
So, but when it comes to writing things and putting my thoughts on paper, I do a pretty good job with that, and I would agree with that. But the point that I'm trying to make is we all have a duty and an obligation to stand up for ourselves and for our brothers and sisters, which is why I do what I do. I want to empower my brothers and sisters in this great country of ours to stand up for their rights. But I can't do it for you. You've got to be willing to do it yourself. So this is why we do this show. This is why I try to educate as many people as I can using the technology we have at our hands so that you too can stand up to this massive police state that's coming on top of us, that they're trying to do. I really think that this...
I'm going to stretch this a little bit more, right? You guys are learning these things right here too. But if you have a hard time or a little late on researching, right? But you could get these basic things down. And you can ask an attorney, are you going to uphold this and challenge this for my behalf, right? You give them that list and tell them, this is what I want you to do. right? Now, if attorney says we can't do that, run. Run far away from that attorney. Run, run, run. All right? But if you must get one, still keep these 19 rules, right? And put it on your paper and all that kind of stuff. And if you need to go get an attorney, hand it to him. This is what I want you to do. And if he says, oh, well, no, it don't work that way, run.
Year is going to be a monumental year for change. I really do. But again, it starts with us at the local level. We have got to take local action.
Grassroots.
That's right. Okay. So again, this goes back to the heart of the issue. At the scene of the crime, we're always going to demand probable cause. We're going to demand a Fourth Amendment warrant, and we're going to demand counsel of our choice. This is what the Supreme Court has stated are the requisites required to challenge jurisdiction. If you don't demand these things and you go into that traffic court, you don't have much of a basis to stand on to say this court doesn't have jurisdiction. Again, if you voluntarily agree to this stuff, then they can do this. If it doesn't mean that you can go back and fight this later, I want to make that very clear. Sometimes you're going to hear some people, and even George Gordon states this, that if you volunteer in it, that you're in it, there's no way getting out of it. That's not true. The court still must prove on the record that they had subject matter jurisdiction. It's just a lot easier when you demand these things at the scene of the crime, when you go in to fight this in court on paper, and they don't prove it. Because again, if you demand this stuff from the officer, and he doesn't tell you his probable cause, or he says your probable cause is for speeding, well, that's not probable cause, we know that. He doesn't present a warrant, demands your identification, steals it from you, and you say, I'm not going to answer any questions without counsel present, and he doesn't allow you to get counsel. Well, guess what? He just divested the court of the jurisdiction it needs to be able to enforce any action from this officer. Right at the scene of the crime. Even before the stupid prosecuting attorney gets involved. Because you guys know that these are the things that that really get under my skin. Did you guys know that the only a district attorney is not a constitutionally appointed attorney? Did you guys know that?
I thought they weren't elected by the town, no?
Well, they can be. But constitutionally speaking, the only individual who is allowed to prosecute crimes on behalf of we the people is a prosecuting lawyer, not a district attorney, or a prosecuting attorney as we might call him. So what happens is that, you know, you're charged with an infraction, it's sent over to like a local district attorney of some kind, or even just some Joe Schmo from a law firm that's contracted with the local municipality or township or whatever, and they're prosecuting the crime. And it says the city of such and such, or the state of such and such versus so and so. Well, that tells you right there, this is an administrative crime.
Mm-hmm.
This is an administrative infraction. Because if it was a common law crime, if it was a crime against we the people, it would say the people of the state of so and so versus such and such.
Right. So it's a corporation, a company that's
Exactly. Again, administrative law. That's all this is. Administrative law. Okay? Rule number 16, we talked about this. Always demand all of your rights at all times and at all hearings. And on every piece of paper you sign. This includes, but not limited to, citations, tickets, letters, and motions to the court. People, do not sign things you don't want to sign. Okay? Just stop doing it.
A few videos back, when somebody was fighting the courts, standing as a man in the courts, I told you guys a few times in the video, right? He walks out of that courtroom without signing nothing.
Stop signing contracts that you don't understand. And if you're being forced to sign it, there's nothing wrong with writing signed under threat, duress, and coercion. Nothing wrong with putting that on there whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at the side of the road and the officer hands you the ticket and says, sign this, and you say, well, what are you going to do to me if I don't? I'm going to haul you off to jail. Okay.
And I'm going to go a step further, y'all. I would just, if I had to put that threat, coercion, and all rights reserved and all that, Um, I would probably just put an X. I wouldn't actually put my name on there, right? They don't need my name.
Sign your name, signed under threat, duress, and coercion. That just voided anything that document may say. And it's not a contract. Contrary to what people may think, that officer is not trying to get you to contract. That is not what's happening there. All that you're doing when you sign a ticket is you're agreeing to appear.
Yeah, you're admitting.
And you're admitting. So stop signing things. If you don't agree with the contract, stop signing it.
Yeah.
If you're being forced to sign it under threat, duress, and coercion. Don't start using this UCC nonsense. It doesn't apply to us. So stop doing it. I've seen people sign their name UCC 1-307. What does that even freaking mean? I know you're trying to reserve your rights, and I get that, but it's inherently known you have rights. All you need to do is hey, I'm being forced to sign this against my will. I don't want to sign this piece of garbage.
I do agree that you do not have to do the UCC 308. Okay, all you have to do is just put on there in general is all rights reserved. Okay, that's just in the name of it, right? All rights reserved. So even if the UCC is actually involved in all this or not, all right, it, it's the umbrella. It covers all.
They're forcing me to, because if I don't, they're going to haul me off to jail, and I don't have the time to go to jail right now. I've got too many things going on in my life. I don't know that anybody has time.
And you can also add to that all rights reserved.
If you want, you can. Mm-hmm. But it's just known.
You state it. Well, you know, what did they say? We don't assume, James.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Rule number 17.
All right. Video's 12 minutes. Till next time, this is We the People News.